In this tutorial, you will learn about the CSS overflow property. The CSS overflow property controls what happens to content that is too big to fit into an area. The overflow property specifies whether to clip the content or to add scroll bars when the content of an element is too big to fit in the specified area. The overflow property has the following values, that is, first value is visible, which is default. The overflow is not clipped. The content renders outside the elements box. Second value is hidden, in which the overflow is clipped and the rest of the content will be invisible. The third value is scroll, where the overflow is clipped and a scroll bar is added to see the rest of the content. And the last value is auto, in which is similar to scroll, but it adds scroll bars only when necessary. So I have included all these values in this HTML and CSS file. So I have linked the CSS file in the head section of the HTML file. And in the body section, I have written different divs which will display the overflow property, the different values of the overflow property. And in the CSS file, I have styled those divisions using the overflow property. So this is the content that will appear on the browser, which is written in the HTML file. So first, let's see the value visible of the overflow property. By default, the overflow is visible, meaning that it is not clipped and it renders outside the elements box. So as you can see on the browser, the first div displays visible value. So the content renders outside the elements box, and the overflow is visible when the value of the overflow property is visible. So in the CSS file, I have written overflow visible. Then the next value is hidden. So with the hidden value, the overflow is clipped and the rest of the content is hidden. So as you can see on the browser, this division displays hidden value. So there is no scroll bar for this division and the rest of the content will be hidden. So you can see only half of the content which will fit into the div, which will fit into that box, and the rest of the content is hidden. Then the next value, so in the CSS file you will simply write overflow hidden. And the next value is scroll, which I have written over here. And in the CSS file for that div you will write overflow scroll. And in the browser you will see that there is a scroll bar added to the element box. So setting the value to scroll, the overflow is clipped and a scroll bar is added to scroll inside the box. Note that this will add a scroll bar both horizontally and vertically even if you don't need it. So there are two scroll bars, horizontally and vertically. But over here, only horizontal scroll bar is needed. But irrespective of that, it will add both the scroll bars. Then the next value is auto. So simply in the CSS file, you will write overflow auto, and in the HTML file, this is the content that will appear on the browser for the value auto. So the auto value is similar to scroll, but it adds scroll bars only when necessary. So that is why on the browser you will see that there's only one scroll bar, which is the vertical scroll bar, because horizontal scroll bar is not needed over here. Lastly, the overflow X and overflow Y properties specifies whether to change the overflow of the content just horizontally or vertically or both. So over here I have written the overflow X and Y property, and this is how I have styled it. So for overflow X I have given the value hidden, and for overflow Y I have given the value scroll. So that is why there will be only one scroll bar, which will be for Y direction. The overflow X specifies what to do with the left or right edges of the content, and overflow Y specifies what to do with the top or bottom edges of the content. And this is how it looks on the browser. So as I said, there will be only one scroll bar, which is vertical, because for overflow Y I have set the value to scroll, and for overflow X I have set the value to hidden. So that is all you need to know about the overflow property. Thank you.